Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. And this week will not be a 3-hour plus episode. I'm Peter. Joining me as always is Matt.
Boom.
Connor's also here.
Yes, definitely won't be 3 hours.
3 hours and I believe 10 minutes. It was the longest episode we've ever done.
We're gonna get in and out of this one.
Can I just point out though the ridiculousness that the longest episode we ever did was a week 5 episode.
It had like 4 or 5 books.
Yes, but it had.
Well, that's Doomsday Clock though. Like that's solely on them.
It was a 1-2 punch because it was Doomsday Clock plus the Heroes in Crisis finale, which was passionate for other reasons, and then that was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Passionate enough to inspire a supercut.
Yes, that's a good point. Yeah, well, our patron David Short, he actually edited together a cut of all of our Heroes in Crisis reviews, issue 1 through 9. That went up yesterday on YouTube if you want to check it out. So it's like a 3 hour 40-minute video, and it's just all those Heroes in Crisis reviews, and it's worth checking out because at the end of it he posts like a table of all the scores, like going from the start to the end. Really interested to see how it changed over the course. And my favourite part though, because he alerted me to this, because obviously I wasn't going to watch the whole thing because 3 hours 40 minutes long, guys. Come on. Yeah. He says, check this timestamp. And I went, okay. I checked the timestamp. And it's at the end of, I don't know, issue 6 or 7, whatever one it was. Yeah. And Connor wasn't on that episode for whatever reason. He missed it. But he sent me a message at the end of it, or he said something on Twitter or something. He said that he didn't think he was going to finish Heroes in Crisis. He wasn't going to bother. Right, and as soon as I say that, it gets that there's a flashback back to like issue 1, where Connor says no matter what he's going to finish it.
Oh, he's a liar.
I didn't even remember saying that.
That's my favorite thing on the table is, Connor misses the second week, right? Yeah. And then, so I'm looking at it now, and then after issue 5, it's just gone until issue 9. Which is a 3 with a question mark. Which that 3 with a question mark made me laugh so hard. But I did the ratings, the average for me and Pete. I just didn't bother with Connor because there wasn't enough info for him to get a proper average. But between me and Pete, if you average them out, Pete got a 6.2 and I got a 7.1.
Now, is that representative of your overall feelings?
Which, well, it goes along with my mantra of everything's a 7. So and that wasn't even intentional.
I mean,
so
I think the ending upset me enough that it probably doesn't, but at the same time, I can't argue that looking at my ratings, that it does kind of track that just because the last 2 were like 3 and 4 out of 10, that the previous bunch were all like 6 and 7s.
It's more a case of does those 2 being so much lower, while it doesn't drag down the number that much, it's enough that it's still a 6. Does it drag down your feeling?
Oh, sure, yeah. Like I
do think we were open to more things up until about issue. Let me pull back up the table again. Up until about issue 6 or 7. That's when it started to wear on us because we were both pretty positive about it.
Yeah, we were open-minded.
Through. I mean, I liked 6 a little bit more than Pete did, but we're all about within the same range. I also like 10 a lot more than either of you did. So, or issue 1, I gave it a 10. So, but yeah,
that feels a bit silly in hindsight.
Yeah.
Well, no, I thought it was a good open. I mean, Pete, you gave the first issue an 8.5. So
I'm just looking at the table. I gave the first one a 5.5.
5. Yeah. But remember, Pete, he was gonna finish it.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah. Well, it got worse apparently.
Yeah, I know. My ratings is like a roller coaster. Like it starts up, and then down, and then up, and then way down. Like
so you go check out that supercut of all the Heroes of Crisis reviews if it's maybe a fun trip down memory lane or something good for later. I've already spoken to David about the possibility of a Doomsday Clock supercut, although given how long
that might be 2 parts.
Actually 3 parts. I think we agreed on 3 parts.
Oh boy.
Just because of some of those discussions were an hour each on their own. So
that's true, and there's more issues.
So I feel like if it's 3 parts, then the most one can be is 4 hours, which is about on par with what that Heroes in Crisis one is. The first one will probably be a bit shorter than that, but So that may be a thing that's happening. It's up to David. It's not something we're doing. We'll throw it up. I'll put it up on the channel and people can enjoy it. But so you can thank David.
Trust David not to abuse his position and edit in anything else.
Why did you say that? He may never have thought of that, and now you've planted the seed in his head.
I'm just saying. What I'm doing here is making it so you have to check through it before you publish it and giving you that responsibility. So it's on you.
It's E3 week. You know he's not going to. If there's going to be any mistakes on edit, no. If there's any mistakes on editing, it's going to be during this week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's true. We'll say yes. It's like, oh damn it! I need to do it all in advance, and it's going to be just a rush job.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing today because tomorrow's E3 day. Well, one of 2 E3 days. Because obviously E3 goes on during the week, but E3 is mainly Sunday and Monday for the conferences, which is the part we really care about. If you do happen to care about it, me and Connor are going to live stream our reactions to it over on the Mail Fuzz Video Games channel on YouTube, so you can go and check it out.
That's later today as this goes live.
As this goes live later today, yeah. So you can get a lot more of us if you want to. Yeah, we've done with DC Comics on this show. To be fair, our tangent there was mostly DC Comics related, but here's what's coming up on this week's show. We have DCeased issue 2, we have Batman 72, Justice League 25, Shazam issue 6, Young Justice issue 6, the Green Lantern issue 8, and Adventures of the Super Sons issue 11. So that's what's coming up on the show this week. A little bit of static there just for a split second. I almost thought Mike was going, which is maybe tells you how long we were sitting chatting before we press record.
I should do that right now, though, just to
get ahead of it.
Yeah. Give it a wee reset.
I think my favourite part of this is he's preempting it. It's definitely going to happen in about 3 minutes' time.
All right, just shut off my mic, turn it on. It should be fine now.
Yeah, it should be fine for about an hour. Me and Matt were talking about wrestling for like half an hour before.
All right, yeah.
Before we start.
New Japan, guys. If you're not, go and do it.
Yeah, because Dominion's on tomorrow, and then E3 starts later in the day, and then that's on for 2 days. It's a busy couple of days.
I got Dark Phoenix to not watch because I made that decision.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, no, I was, and then I thought, you know what? I did things out of spite before, and it only hurt myself.
Can I just point out that Matt made a conscious choice here to not see a movie that stars both Sophie Turner and Jessica Chastain?
Yep.
What's the world coming to?
This is basically Matt's wet dream.
Huh?
Literally, his wet dream.
I told you that in confidence, and I didn't need you airing it on the internet.
I don't think anyone's that surprised, Matt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But still.
Yeah.
No, and it's not just a bad buzz. Apocalypse wasn't that good. And how did you mess that up with Oscar Isaac? He's one of my favorites.
And it feels like we know, MCU X-Men are coming in about 5 years or so. There's already rumors of Fantastic Four hitting in 2022.
You know what's really funny is, so I assume the movie's already out or just come out in the last couple of days.
It came out, yeah.
I'm seeing all these articles of, does Dark Phoenix have a post-credit scene? Who gives a shit? There's not going to be another one.
Well, here's the thing. If you're into Dark Phoenix, seed it out, or or why do it again when we just did it, like in Last Stand? Like, I know that wasn't just, but come on.
Honestly, though, I mean, that's no excuse not to do it.
Well, what made me, and this might be spoilers, so if y'all really don't matter, I mean, if you really care, I'm sorry.
Well, what are you spoiling? Just.
I read that there.
What movie? Just let me clarify. What movie are you spoiling?
Oh, sorry, Dark Phoenix.
Right, okay, maybe mild spoilers for Dark Phoenix.
Maybe mild spoilers, and this was in a headline. So mind you, that the Hellfire Club nor the Shi'ar have any part in this movie, and to which I go, why? Like, you have a chance to do it right, and you're choosing to do neither. So
I don't know why anyone thought that this would be doing it right. Given everyone who's involved.
I just feel when you bring Jessica Chastain in and you don't have her play a member of the Hellfire Club nor Lalandra of the Shi'ar Empire. I want to
sort of do a related tangent here. So we just finished recently the new Twilight Zone season, right? The new reboot.
Yes.
Connor reviewed the first half of it. He opted out. Tara opted in because she'd been doing the classic stuff with me, and I told Connor just yesterday about the final episode of the season and how it was this kind of ballsy movie. And I won't spoil it on the show. I won't spoil what it is because I don't want to spoil it for anyone who gives a shit. But
tell me on a break.
Yeah, I'll tell you in a break. But it was a really big, ballsy, ridiculous thing they did in that season finale. But it was a really badly written, directed episode, and
I'm shocked.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Something I noticed in the credits at the end really started making me laugh, and it was kind of one of those ones. Of course it was bad. Of course it was. Do you know who directed the finale of Twilight Zone season 1?
You never told me this bit.
Simon Kinberg, the director of Dark Phoenix.
You said it.
I love it so much. So yeah, new Twilight Zone is not very good, but I highly recommend checking out classic Twilight Zone because I'm also watching that.
I did hear though that the first episode with Camille was actually worth a watch.
It's okay.
I might hit up my friend that has CBS All Access and be like, hey bud.
I wouldn't go out your way, Matt.
No, but
you've got better things to watch.
Yeah, but see, I'm gonna go watch Stuber, so I'm a Camille purist. All right.
Hey, Stuber looks like it may be fun.
Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for Dave Bautista. Ever since he played Drax, I'm there for his comedy.
Oh sure, sure.
Simon Kinberg.
I know. Who, if you didn't know this, the director of Dark Phoenix also was one of the writers on X-Men: The Last Stand. Just in case you didn't know that bit of trivia.
So I'm looking over the wiki article for Dark Phoenix, and I can guarantee that no Hellfire Club nor.
I'm surprised anyone bothered making a wiki page.
Oh man, that bums me out. Like I definitely was like, oh, should I see it? I'm definitely not seeing it now. Like you, pish posh.
I may watch it when it's a cheap rental or streaming somewhere.
I'll just go back and watch the
2 hours.
The X-Men 90s animated series because they did it pretty well. So
could just watch Logan again.
Oh God. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Johnny Cash, and then I remembered hearing Man Comes Around at the end of Logan and just bawling my eyes out.
Yeah. I always thought it was weird to put that at the end of it because Hurt was the one they played in all the trailers. And I was expecting Hurt, and then it was like Man Comes Around. I'm like, what? This is the wrong song.
Yeah. But Man Comes Around can describe him. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah.
And now I want to watch Logan. God, I hate you, Connor. I have other things to watch. I just finished Supergirl. All right.
I mean, Logan's definitely better.
Huh?
Logan's definitely better than that.
I know, but I was going to start the one that you guys want me to watch.
Doom Patrol or Legends?
No, Legends.
Legends, yeah. Watch Legends from season 2 onwards, yeah.
Yes, I'm going to do that. And, Riverdale with the wife, just because it's ridiculous.
I heard how insane that got.
Yes, and that's why.
Holy shit.
I was going to swear it off and be like, I don't need to watch the next season. And then I heard what they do, and I was like, oh, I'm in.
There was I think it was like a Netflix account posted these pictures of, hey, all these things actually happened.
Yeah.
And it started off like, okay, sure. And then it got to the end one, and I won't say it for the sake of spoilers for anyone who wants to watch Riverdale, but it was so insane. I was like, okay, Netflix, you're just shitting me here.
You made
this
that
is
up.
just a sarcastic post. And then I Googled it, and it was real.
It shows that it's such trash, but it's, again, you're talking to the dude that loves Taco Bell. Like, I know it's bad, but I love it. And so if you're going to be bad, at least have fun with it. Looking at you, Flash. So,
Joe is amazing to me is that both Flash, Legends, and then just happened to be around the same time, the Doom Patrol, not finale, the penultimate episode, I think it was. All three of them had a person fading away, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. And it's insane to me how the Flash one is easily the worst one and just came off as shit. I won't say any more for spoiler's sake, but just...
Yeah.
Every meta must die.
Cicada here?
Do you know what I love the finale about is like there's a point where like she's imagining like both like good cicada and bad cicada, and every time it cuts to bad cicada he's just like
Yeah, I'm so bummed because I really did like XS, right? And then it just Y'all told me not to watch it, and then I looked what happens, and I'm definitely happy I did not watch it.
Oh dear.
And I love The Flash. It hurts.
Yeah. We do actually do a television for the Multiverse podcast. Me and Connor, we talk about the DC TV shows. There wasn't one this week because we'd planned for stuff because we had to get some stuff ready for E3. But we did do the Swamp Thing premiere the previous week's episode. And then when we go to do episode 2 in next week's episode, we'll be telling you how it's cancelled already. And no one should get invested in anything.
But more excitingly, we'll be talking about Krypton Season 2 next week.
That's true, yeah, Krypton's back.
And I'm reminded of that because there's a little advert thing in the back of all the comics this week.
Oh, okay.
There's like a 3-page story, like recap.
Yeah.
Well, the digital comics had like 8 pages of Leviathan, Event Leviathan teases at the back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It really inflated the page count on the digital. Like I kept thinking, I was like, what are all these extra pages at the end? I was like, oh, it's these ones again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. All right. It was
Just you actually talk about comics.
It was done with the small talk portion of the show. Okay. Maybe we'll get to 3 hours. We'll try. Oh dear. All right. So yeah, let's talk about comics. So we'll start off with DCeased issue 2. It is Tom Taylor writing, Trevor Hairsine on the art, and we basically the first issue was more or less just how the virus starts, and obviously Batman Batman was getting at the end, and it turns out he did, but he does actually kind of hold on a little bit, so we get to see him this issue in one of Mr. Freeze's old suits, which I thought was
that was awesome.
Was neat. But we have kind of like Aquaman gets basically he's basically the idiot at the start of the horror movie who gets killed really quickly. That's Aquaman.
He didn't have a chance.
No. But the big thing here is we have Dinah with Ollie, and they're with Hal camping, and
some great banter.
Some good banter, yeah, for sure. I really laughed because Hal goes into his tent and they're like, he's on his phone, he's not actually going to sleep, and she starts singing because they're joking about singing with each other, and she starts, and I love how just from the few vowels it gives you, she's singing, and I will always love you, like that's what she's going to go into.
And that's dangerous when you're Dinah because you got the sonic power.
Oh yeah,
you hit that note, you're blowing out eardrums.
That was kind of Hal's whole argument.
Yeah, but I do love him being grumpy old man. Like, it very much was the Green Arrow, Green Lantern from the 70s, where, Hal's kind of grumpy old man, and Ollie's kind of like the more loosey-goosey.
I got more on that later.
Okay. And I love it. He's like, I'm going to bed. And like, well, they're supposed to be camping, they're supposed to be getting away. And you see him turn on his phone, and you're like, oh, crap. Mm-hmm. Like, it was seated so well.
Yep. And then obviously he goes full evil Green Lantern, and they have to fight him, and ultimately, he dies. Like Dinah.
Dinah. And now we know that they are vulnerable to meta stuff. Like, it's not just, they're not. They're not just like take off the head, but there's other ways to get rid of them.
Actually, the other thing I liked is that even just as soon as he comes out of the tent, the ring's like, lethal force is not authorized. It's like the ring knows he's about to start killing people.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like that. But immediately the ring's like searching for replacement, and then it's like, found one.
and who is it?
It's Dinah. We get green, black Canary Lantern.
So I didn't realize this because I didn't read Injustice.
Yeah, we'll call her Green Canary. There you go. That's what we'll call her for short.
So I haven't read Injustice because the whole take on it I wasn't a fan of. But now that Tom Taylor's became the patron saint of the show.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, go.
Tom Taylor.
Yep.
So I went back and I picked up his work on it digitally. So I'm excited to go that way. No, I haven't started yet. But apparently Black Canary plays a pretty big role in that too. So I'm all for this Tom Taylor being a huge Black Canary fan. So, because it's kind of what I would do with Starfire, If I'm given the keys, I'm going to give Starfire a big role.
Yeah. Harley goes to Joker. We don't really get to see the end of the scene, but she goes to...
and he is zombified.
He's on, of course he is.
Already.
Yeah.
But I like the scene with Ivy too, where this is almost, this was going on as soon as the virus hit, right? That Harley was going to break up with Mr. J
Yeah.
because Ivy's the one that appreciates her for her. There's no sick, twisted mind games. I also like the way that they drew Ivy in this one, where she looks like she's wearing a dress made out of plants.
Yeah, it's like a leaf dress, isn't it?
And it's very throwback. If you go back and look at her first appearance, it's almost, throwback to that. So I appreciated that too, that she wasn't in the bodysuit or anything. It was very much just regular outing for Ivy, as much as you can being a plant woman.
Yeah, I don't love Hairsine's art. I think his layouts are good. Like I think the action flows really well.
I like it. I feel it gives it a pulpy feel to this story, which I feel that's what it needs.
I really like it. I think he's not suited to some characters more than others, but I really like his art overall.
I think his Superman just feels really skinny to me. Like a really skinny head, skinny arms.
I think his Superman's probably his weakest element, although it's not always like that. It's just, there are some panels where Superman looks fantastic.
I mean, that image of Lantern coming out of the fire, like all creepy and all in the shadows, like,
that's
and
great.
then he's surrounded by green, and then, no, you're right, his Superman is a little bit too skinny, but
I do love Batman in the free suit though. One of my favorite things about that page is when he's explaining to Superman and whoever else that he's already dying. He's infected. It's going to take over. He's slowing it down with the suit, but it's going to take over. The panel where he says that, it focuses on Alfred behind him with his head down. He's holding a shotgun as well, for the record. But it's Alfred with his head down as he says that, and it's like, this is the zombie apocalypse part of this story. It's knowing you have to kill your loved one, but we're doing it with Alfred and Batman, which is great.
Yeah. So I read this physically, and I thought something was wrong with the way this ended. I thought I was missing a page just because it ends so abruptly.
I know what you mean, and it goes into something else on the physical version. Is it an advert or something or other?
Yeah. So I was like, wait, what? I'm missing a page.
So the other thing I really like about this scene where Batman's telling them this is that I love the choice here to have Batman to be the one to tell everyone else you have to kill them, because Batman's whole thing, more than anyone else in the DC universe, is no killing. So Batman's saying, no, the zombies, you have to kill them. They're not the people anymore. You have to do it.
Yeah, they're already dead.
Yeah, that's it. It's not, it's not killing them because they're not alive. It's acceptable, but it's showing you just how serious it is.
I hope we get a scene with Deathstroke just wiping out waves of them.
That'd be good.
Now I want that.
Yeah, I think that's a really smart choice, because it takes the character who's the most against killing, and really just for the rest of the characters, more so than us even, it's like, no, he must be right, because
if he's saying this, then we should take it seriously.
And the exchange between him as he's saying what's going on, and early on they're telling Damian, like, your dad will be fine. If anybody's going to get out of this, it's your dad. And at the end, where he calls him father and then calls him dad, as he realizes he's not getting out of this. This writer's hit the Bat family hard.
Yeah, Bruce has left him like a bat suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we assume that's the case. It's in a case. So, so he's got like a case with a bat logo on it. So presumably it's a bat suit of some sort, but we'll see. So the issue ends with Bruce turning Batman turning zombie, breaking open the freeze dome, and then Alfred says, "I'm sorry, son," and shoots him with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Rough times.
God, this
and
is
not rough times. Not rough times are bad, but because it's so bleak. And so this issue is what made me want to go back and check out Injustice, because like I know what the inciting incident for that is, and it's along the same lines. And I feel like Taylor has a knack for this.
What he's good at so far, I mean, obviously we knew he was good anyway in general, but in terms of these sort of other worlds, or Elseworlds, to use the correct term, is that he's very good at taking whatever the premise is and applying it to the characters, and like I just said with Batman being the one to say you have to kill them, he takes the characters in the world they're in and uses them in a way that makes sense, or even improves what the trope of the Elseworld is. So in this case, it's a zombie apocalypse. In the case of Injustice, it's so Superman's about evil.
Superman,
totalitarian Superman.
Yeah.
So, but no. So I'm excited to get to that. Like, I do like Tom Taylor. I also have all new Wolverine ready to read.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. So he's again patron saint of the of the show at this point, but it's well earned. Like it's also like I love doing that with a writer when I get excited to read other stuff, and sure it might not hit, but there's that excitement that I have to get to read. Like I did that with Aaron when I went back and got like Scout and Wolverine and the X-Men and whatnot after I found Thor. So
I need more of this.
Yeah, I need more. What else can he do? And that's what I like so far about Tom Taylor is like, sure, there's this issue that's super dark and Alfred's got to kill Bruce, but then there's also Spider Bite or Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which hits
the complete opposite.
Yeah, it hits you in a different emotional.
Yeah, you read was it issue 6 of that the last one?
Issue 6. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's your fault that I read Tom Taylor, guys. It's you two guys going on about him. So.
Oh, we're sorry.
Well, no, I don't mean it like that, but like, yeah. Just when I thought I've met all my favorite creators, now another one enters. Like now I gotta find. Hope he does a con over here.
Mm. So. We kind of glossed over Diana becoming a Green Lantern almost. I don't know if we give that.
It's great though. Like it's unexpected.
She doesn't do anything as a Green Lantern yet. She's just like, oh, okay, we've got this now, and they're like, okay, you're gonna have to come with us. We're gonna need you.
I feel like during this story, I'm going to need a panel of her using her green power to like hold something up, right? So something really heavy. She's got like the big scaffolding or whatever above her, right? And then she has to hold something off in front of her with her scream. Like I need to dual wield essentially.
You need the simultaneous.
I need to see what her projections are going to be because I want to see her blasting people with music notes and like, and instead of a scaffolding, it's a clef, like it's a what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever it's called. I'm not a music guy, but yeah, like. It looks like a songbook,
A treble clef. I'm
using words.
Bass clef?
Bass clef. No, but I'm trying to think of all the goddamn notes. Quaver, semi-quaver. These are notes, right?
They are, yeah.
Okay. It's been a while.
The Americans probably don't have any idea what you're on about because they just call them, quarter beat.
Half notes.
Note, half note, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
I remember this when I took a guitar class for one semester in college.
They got really lazy and just did that. Well, we call them, crotchet. Quaver, semi-quaver.
Actually, this sounds kind of cool. But yeah, I used to remember the order of them too, but I can't.
Here's an amusing side note. See, when I did music, right the first time we ever had a music class in high school, right at the start, because we never did music. Well, we never really did music in like early school. Like we got out the triangle and played like along with something.
Yeah,
xylophones. Recorders. That was,
recorders.
Every school by me had the recorders.
My dad hid my brother's recorder.
Oh, it's an awful instrument. It's terrible.
Yes.
But the first day of music, the way they were the teacher, Mr. Holmes, it was his name. I remember his Holmes. He always used to crack a joke that if you spell it wrong, it's like you're saying Mr. Homeless, so don't misspell his name. That was his joke on day one. But he had the way he tried to teach us about music beats and how long each beat was. This is a really Scottish thing. This would not work anywhere else. He says,
"Are you going to describe what happened in Whiplash right now? Am I dragging or am I rushing?"
If he said, if I handed you a biscuit, what would you maybe say? And someone said, "Thanks." No. What else might you say? And someone said, "Oh, ta," because in Scotland that's a way of saying thanks. You say ta, right?
Yeah. It's Ireland and England do it as well.
They do it as well. Okay, right. So it's like, okay, so that's a note. And then he did what do you call it when the two half ones joined? Is that the semi ones?
What do you mean when they're joined?
The joined, so
the music note.
So yeah, so two music notes, but they're joined with a line at the top. What do you call that?
Yeah, that's just the half. So that's
two. Okay.
To Matt, that's an eighth.
So from ta he went, that's tate. So it was basically teaching us like how long each one is. Starting with the word ta and just using that as the fundamental building block. I don't know why I wanted to tell that story, but we're talking music.
Every other country in the world just claps. Like, it's just one and then that's it. That's all they do. Every other it claps. It works.
Anyways, DCeased. Anyone else think also the title's a double? Because if you look at it, it could be DCeased, but also diseased, right? DCeased.
DCeased.
Like,
oh, sure, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like, well done on the title. I'm just saying, but so Superman's definitely not making it out, right? He's gonna be the 11th hour pull your heart out and show it to you, Temple of Doom style? Or do you think that's gonna be another character? So I was getting that vibe.
I think he's the final issue sacrifice to put things right.
Yeah. If I was to guess right now, I think Superman goes down. I think all the adults go down. I think Damien and John are the ones who actually ultimately come out saving the day.
I think Dinah does as well, actually.
Yeah.
I think, with new fan powers, like, okay, no, she helps, lead the new world.
Because, see, here's the thing. I feel like because of their lantern ring, I feel like they're going to be immune to the anti-life.
The hell wasn't.
Yeah. Well, no, because he wasn't suited up. So as long as she's suited up, I feel like she's immune to it.
I hope not, because that would feel like a stretch.
I
don't see this happening, but I mean, if you're right, Matt, you're right.
Yeah. So I feel like she has some plot armor there. Now that we'll see the Green Lantern Corps come in and just eviscerate everything, because we still got 4 issues left. But
Yeah.
I do like how it's biological but also technological.
It's a bit of both.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah. I'm just making sure my TV doesn't turn off. So yeah, that's DCeased number 2. As you can tell by our fairly positive ramblings, it is pretty damn good. So, now, Matt, what are you giving it?
I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Connor?
Yeah, 8.5.
I am also giving it an 8.5. My 8.5... just to sort of define it a little bit more. If I liked the Hairsine's art a bit more, I might have actually been tempted to give it the 9. But because there's the odd Superman face or whatever that feels a bit iffy, go 8.5.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that'll take us on then to Batman issue 72. Tom King writing with Mikel, Janin and Jorge Fornes on the art. So this is an issue which is entirely narrated by a single character, who at first I thought was Batman because of the color of the box, but it becomes clear as it's in context that it's not.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. And then it turns out at the end, of course, that it's actually Flashpoint Batman. It's Thomas Wayne from Flashpoint, who's basically getting him. This is the story of him. I mean, honestly, this issue is mostly a recap of the run.
It's a clip show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With some great art out of Janin, some great art out of Fornes, but to Tom King, I know. To Tom King sending out a tweet saying this is the issue where all the answers happen. You, sir, are deceitful.
All of bullshit.
Yes, because there wasn't any answers. This was.
I'll tell you the one thing I did like at the end, because I wasn't super into this issue either, because it was basically just a clip show. It was basically just a recap of the run, and it looked nice, but there wasn't really much to it.
Yeah,
it was even the art was frustrating in the sense that all the Janin stuff, while very nice, it was just double page spreads. It was just big images. There was no sequential stuff to it.
No, that said, the one of that represents the Poison Ivy one.
Oh, how did I know?
But no, just the way that is laid out,
Did you hear that, guys? Did you hear the noise Matt made when he was trying to describe his feelings for the Poison Ivy page? It was something along the lines of...
It's not just because of Poison Ivy, though. It's the way that with the forest and just...
I've got a feeling those pages are sticking together in Matt's copy.
No, they're not. I respect my comics. Thanks.
It's only because he read it digitally.
That's a great thing about a tablet. You can wipe it off.
P knows from experience. That's all I'm saying. No, just the way that the greens, and it's just... Man.
Anyway, so the one thing I like towards the end of this is that I did kind of like the ultimate point that's made at the very end of the narration, outside of revealing who it is. It's like the page before that. Is I do kind of like that it sets up that Bane's partial motivation for this is the idea is that it's kind of Bane is taking on Batman to prove that he is better. He's basically trying to prove that because Bane is better than because Batman.
Yeah.
Because Bane is more eternal than Batman is. I kind of like that.
That's frustrating for me. But
I mean,
the part that I really liked is when the narrator goes, because that's what Bane does. He picks him up to put him down, and then it shows him breaking Batman's back again. And, oh man, break out the magic ropes. Because...
I will not take this insult to Dark Knight Rises. Thank you very much. I love that movie.
That's easily the worst thing about that movie. I'll give you that.
I don't know. I would argue Talia al Ghul's the worst thing about that movie, but
I don't mind the Talia part. It's not great, but it's certainly better than Magic Ropes.
Everything else I love.
Of course you do.
Look, me and Pete did a full review of that, for Batman Month.
We did, yeah. It was a good 90-minute discussion. It was a nice meaty one.
And I still really like it. It's still real good. I like it more than Matt does, I think.
The best take of it is James saying that it's essentially Batman 66, just retold by Chris Nolan. Getting the bomb into the ocean.
Matt should love that movie because the whole point of that movie is that in the first half of the film, he comes out of retirement via ego because he thinks because Batman, and he's proven that that's bullshit and won't work, and he has to become proper Batman again in the second half.
No, there's parts of it I like. The execution, however, there's parts I don't. So it's but I understand. I understand that Joker is supposed to play a bigger role. And
I think what we've established here is this issue isn't interesting enough to talk about very long, and we'd rather talk about.
It had me with.
We're going to talk about Brain.
But he basically.
Bringing the Batman.
Oh God damn it!
I am working with your father from another universe for you.
Can you do the Caribbean accent?
Caribbean accent?
Like yeah. Because that's the Spain. That's been established.
No, I definitely can't.
You can't.
If I try it, if I try it, it's going to be racist as shit. I'm not doing it.
That said, my favorite thing that came out of Dark Knight Rises is the fire rises. Like, I do love yelling that at random points.
Yes, brother. The fire rises.
The fire rises.
You think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted it. I was born in it.
I like that Bane.
Molded by it.
Issues with Tom Hardy's Bane. I love it. Anyway, this issue, essentially a clip show. I don't care about Flashpoint Batman. I don't like where this is King going, hey, in case you missed anything, this is my point, which you kind of did. Like, if you've been following like we have, maybe not everybody has, but
No, I get there's the whole, every issue could be someone's first.
Yeah.
But this is the recap page.
This is a recap of 71 other issues.
Yeah, I don't know why he thought 72 is the one that really needs to be that issue.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it. I think, honestly, I'm a bit bored by King doing the whole single narrator focus, where there's nothing else in it. He's done that a couple of times now recently.
Yep.
And it never seems to work for me.
I also hate this trope of the villain plotting everything out so meticulously. I hate that trope right now because it pops up all the time.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. I like a lot of the stuff that Ben planned here. I like a lot of elements of it, but there's some stuff where it's such like for this thing to work, you had to have known that this would affect that in this way and that would affect that in this way. Yep. And it's just it breaks the point of my suspension of disbelief.
But I also like that he kind of had ventriloquist there, maybe planting something telekinetically or telepathically.
The part I did like, I liked the idea that he, the whole mission, I am suicide thing. Yeah. He made them need Catwoman on the team so they'd have to spend time together. I like that part. I like the idea that, he put them together.
Yeah. But the whole part, and then I got Riddler then you got Riddler to reprogram Skeet, so then Skeets would take him. Okay, one thing goes off in that booster mission, and it's not what Bane needs to happen. Like now you're playing with time travel rules.
Yeah, that seems a bit.
That's all like Biff's plan in Back to the Future 2 makes much more sense than this. Yeah.
There's so many things that could not go the way he thinks it's going to that it's hard to swallow.
And at first I thought maybe it was Gordon talking to where, and then things start going, because we don't have any resolution of him destroying the bat signal.
Not yet. No.
Like, but yeah, no.
I'm sure that'll come.
Yeah.
Just a question on the art, the Janin page. Obviously, they're all, they're the recapping of all the big moments.
Yeah.
Are they all original images for this, or are they just from earlier in the run? Because some of them are like so familiar that like I'm thinking like Bruce and Selena in the bedroom. That one felt like I'd seen that particular image before.
It's from a different angle, I feel.
Yeah, so it's a new
well,
image.
but that's why I wasn't sure if they were all
like they were, because I remember that being more of a higher angle when we got it, or you know what I mean, like it wasn't from this.
That's the really weird thing about this, is that when we talk about clip shows and TV shows, it's this cost-saving thing because they're just using clips from previous episodes. In a comic, it's different because they're not just using panels from old comics. They still have to do everything as if it was a new comic issue.
Because the same thing for the Harley and Ivy and Bruce and Selena, I felt like we got that, but it was closer. You know, it was more of a close-up. But like the villains page, well, that's not the next one. The next one's them
jumping off
after the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, don't get me wrong. That villains page is gorgeous with all the villains on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a really nice page.
I don't dispute any of these are gorgeous images. It's the same sort of problem we always that we have in the Detective in Action 1000 issues with the whatever the Tomasi story was, where it was all the pinups, and I feel the same here. I'm like, okay, they're really nice images, they're great, but it's not storytelling. And that's where Janin's strength really is the storytelling.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this works a little bit better than those, just because at least there's a clear sequential recap to this run. There's more context for this. As opposed
and the Fornes art breaks it up because it's the fight between Bruce and Bane. But also you have to factor in Holly. And what if they didn't take her there? Like, what if she went somewhere else? She's not there now for Catwoman. What if Catwoman was like, well, I'll take my chances with the whole Joker gambit? Does Bane redo? So I don't know. I'm excited for City of Bane just to see Batman fight his way through, because I kind of do like when Batman's the underdog.
Yeah. I feel like
usually he's not.
I feel like City of Bane is going to be back to feeling more like what those other earlier arcs were like. And I feel like right now, all this stuff that's a bit more ethereal, because even though we're out the Nightmares arc, it still feels like we're still doing kind of just like a head inspection of Batman. And
it feels high concept, even though it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll see.
But no. So, I'm excited for City of Bane.
I mean, I like the last issue more. I think this one was just a bit of a weird recap of the whole run so far.
Well, I'm also trying to fit in, where did Flashpoint Batman come from? And how does he factor in?
Well, it's after the button, surely.
Has to be.
I know, but when does he factor in with Bane? And why would he allow this to happen?
Well, that's the ending, though. He's saying, I want in, basically. He's saying to Bane, I want involved.
But by the time of it, when it happens, at what point did he get involved?
Okay, I think so. What Matt is saying, so he escaped Flashpoint.
Oh, sure.
At the end of the button somehow, and then
I think it's
discovered Bane has done all of this without him, and he's like, okay, now I want involved. So when in the last couple of months or whatever,
it's the wedding. It's right after the wedding. I believe that's when this issue goes up to, is the wedding. So I think it's just after the wedding.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that's what he wants us thinking. Why?
Yeah, because
at the same time,
we keep saying that this is a recap of 71 issues. That's not entirely true. It's a recap of the first 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and admittedly, that's easy because not a whole lot happened in the last 10. So.
Yeah, I mean, post wedding, you had a little bit. You had the courtroom stuff.
I like that. I like that arc.
No, I'm not knocking the quality. I'm just telling you in terms of plot.
No,
progression.
I'm just as you go through them. I'm just saying I like that one.
Yeah. So you had the courtroom. What came after that?
Penguin.
That Penguin story.
Death of his wife. That might not have been his wife.
Sure, but I mean, didn't really advance anything in the overall.
There was the aftermath or the Nightwing getting shot, and then the aftermath of that. Yep. And to be fair, the issue where he got shot was really good.
Yeah. Well, even the KGB stuff afterwards, where he leaves him to die.
That was not bad.
That's Batman being pushed to his limits. I like that too.
But it was after that we got Nightmares, though, right?
Yep. Because then he comes back, fights his way through Arkham, and then finds out that Bane's not moved, and then that's where Gordon decides he's gonna smash with the bat signal.
Yeah. So post wedding, does that, in terms of the overall, the 100-issue plot that we were going towards?
Yeah.
There's actually very little of that is post wedding.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of issues, but not a lot of time passed in the story.
In the last 6 months, that's absolutely true.
So
it feels like there's not much has happened, like, because the KGB stuff, and then him going through Arkham to get to Bane, and then like Gordon falling. I actually like that stuff, but that was about 10 issues ago now, maybe even slightly more than that. So yeah, it's been.
I'm so glad this has been double shipping.
Yeah, it's been a really weird 10 issue or so block.
So when you break down this is 72 issues, if this is going by the year, it's exactly 6 years, which. You look at any other run, by this time, like, Johns was done with his Flash. He was basically done with Green Lantern, with the main part of his story. I think we're in Rebirth by then.
Mm-hmm.
So, not Rebirth, New 52 and Sinestro.
Yeah.
So, you look at these big chunks, and it's kind of like, well, it's been 6 years and not say much. And that kind of sucks. But
yeah, if you break out in terms of the issue count to compare to, let's say, Johns' Flash or Green Lantern, it's getting up there.
Yeah. In the bigger scheme of things, someone asked King on Twitter if
the big generational changing thing was still happening, and he said it is.
Yeah. He said absolutely. So
yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out what it's going to be.
I think maybe them getting married. Maybe that'll just be the status quo change.
Yeah. I think maybe.
I don't know.
Is the death of Catwoman?
Weirdly, I don't know if him getting married is a big enough thing to be a generational shift.
Well,
given.
Yeah.
Okay, gets married and retires.
I kind of do, but I kind of don't.
There you go.
Well, okay, and retires would be completely different. That would be a big.
Because who takes over the mantle now that Dick's not there, and
Dick will be back.
Do we need a Batman? Yeah. Well, so that's what I always thought about is he stops and we have a Batman Inc. scenario, but we've already done that, so it's not really generational, right? Like,
sure, yeah.
I'm trying to think what could be generational.
He reveals who he is to the world.
That could be right.
That would be big, yeah.
But that's easily retconnable. Look at Spider-Man.
I mean, everything's retconnable, but like. It's definitely not something we've dealt with in main continuity to a great extent. The idea that he says to Gordon, hey... I mean, maybe it's just Gordon. Maybe he's like, you know what, Gordon? You need to trust me.
I don't know if it's worth all of this mess, but that's a great story. Yeah. Like... Someone I follow on Twitter retweeted another writer, I think maybe it was Donnie Cates, that says, like, the age of Secret Identities has passed. And I disagree with that because that's one thing that sets DC apart.
It's past in Marvel, sure.
Yeah, DC is still very Secret Identity focused.
And I like it, and I like that there's this world where Clark can wear glasses and you don't recognize him. Where I just finished with Supergirl, and the fact that Lena can't recognize her best friend is Supergirl, and being upset over.
And she sees her without glasses at one point and still doesn't recognize her.
Yeah, well,
and I kind of like that.
Lena's
I like how
campy she is.
No,
she's not. She gets. I mean, can I talk about real quick how much I love John Cryer as Lex? He is a culmination of every Lex that I love.
Did you notice, Matt, that final episode was called "The Quest for Peace"?
Quest for Peace. Yeah. I do, and it involved a missile and in Russia, well, Kosnia.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes. A doppelganger of sorts. So I like that. I like that, and I also like that over in Marvel, you still can have Daredevil as Matt Murdock, and it fits. His secret identity for what he needs to do, but not everybody needs him. Like, people can know Steve Rogers as Cap, but I feel like with Bruce Wayne, what does he have to lose that he can't let people know he's Batman at this point?
More just that him doing that kind of outs all his kids. It's not just a personal decision at that point, I guess.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
What if the generational thing is the death of Bruce Wayne and Batman keeps operating? Right? That's kind of Dark Knight Rises.
That doesn't feel big enough to me.
It doesn't, though, does it?
Yeah. Like that's a fine idea for a plot, but I don't think it's if he's hyper was this big generational, like you'll remember the shift in like the status quo kind of thing.
Or the death of Batman and Bruce persists. You know, Batman's as an idea is done. So,
maybe kind of goes against everything that Batman's ever been.
I think the problem with that is that
King.
I can buy that as a plot. I don't think I can buy them doing that more than a couple of arcs though.
Yeah.
He always comes back.
Yeah.
You're never at the game.
Because I can see them, okay, we want someone else in the cowl, fine. But there's no way DC go, all right, sure, we won't have a Batman.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no way, yeah.
No.
There'll always be a Batman.
Yeah.
But again, that's something that's big enough that King would have to go above.
Yeah, but they'd never approve it. Their biggest cash cow. No.
Yeah, no Batman anymore. No. Just
this is like Coke and New Coke, right?
Hey, New Coke's coming back.
I know it is. I'm excited because none of the people that I know that were around for it remember what New Coke tastes like. I asked my dad, I asked my mother-in-law, I asked my boss, and they're like, I honestly can't tell you because it was so fast.
Told you this is why they're doing it, Pete. That's for curiosity.
Yeah. Well, and also it's a fun gimmick, you know?
Yeah.
For Stranger Things, like.
Yeah. There's a fun gimmick to it.
But yeah.
Dear. I guess we should rate this issue of Batman. I mean.
Yeah, we should.
What do you give it a Matt?
So I was really big on the art. So this is where the conundrum of rating it comes.
He's giving it a 7, isn't he?
I am. Damn you. I was thinking 6.5, but I really enjoyed the art, especially that with the way that it worked with the narration of, Bane picks you up just to put you down.
I mean,
and he hits him with the mother of all backbreakers.
Yeah, kind of what are you giving it?
I mean, a 4. It's not the worst issue, but it's boring, it's recappy, and ultimately just pointless. Like, I could have just skipped this.
Yeah, I'm kind of a similar boat to Matt. Like, I like the art a lot. I did like the final sort of like idea that Bane thinks he's is basically as badass as Batman, and that's ultimately like the idea.
Well, he's not wrong. Tell me the lie.
He's trying to prove that Bane out Batman's Batman, essentially, and I kind of like that. But ultimately, it's not necessarily. I mean, that revelation is worth the whole issue. I just don't think the whole issue actually does plot to build to it. It just recaps.
I don't think it's worth the last 6 months with the nightmares. It's a great concept if Nightmares was its own thing off to the side, like King's experimental Batman
just its own miniseries.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So with that logic, I am going to give it a 6 because really pretty. I don't think there's anything offensively bad about it. It's just not that exciting or important for the most part either. So kind of where it stands. Which I guess will take us on then to Justice League issue 25. Scott Snyder and James Tynion the fourth writing with Jorge Jimenez and Javier Fernandez on the art. That's a really good pair of artists to have together because I really had to think about which name went with which last name there. So
yeah, a lot of J's.
Yeah.
There.
Well, more specifically, a lot of Hispanic J's that don't sound like J's. Yeah.
Just before we actually get into the issue, I know there's a new thing on the box art. What is that standing for? Like, what's it meant to be?
Let me check.
Because obviously it was New Justice up until I think this issue.
You're right. It just says JL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it supposed to be anything?
I think it's just the Justice League family.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a shield with JL in it.
No. I didn't know if it was meant to be like a new direction, new. Is it standing for anything bigger, or is it just? I
think
JL.
it's just we're past like that promotional period where we called it this, so now it's just Justice League family.
Fair enough.
That'd be my guess anyway. Yeah, so oversized issue. We have Batman in his big stupid white suit that I hate. Fighting Sunbox, yes.
Lord.
Fighting most of the league. However, the Superman side of this issue was actually pretty good, so I can't.
This is how you can tell.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Jorge Jimenez really. You can tell he loves Superman.
All I'm saying is Superman flying through multiple suns.
Yep.
Is the best thing I've seen in
Okay. Are you saying that because you love Morrison and that's something Morrison would have done? Because that's very much 1,000,000.
It kind of is, but no, just the imagery of it more than anything.
No, it is.
I think for me, it's because obviously I've been saying all along, Batman's got a plan. He's not actually just going along with this. Ultimately, yeah, he moved the sons away from Clark, but he kind of like knew that he could get there, right? You know,
was it more interesting to you though that he was kind of going along with it, but with a back plan?
Yeah, he was basically like, I know Clark's not going to die because of the orbits I put the sons in, but if he doesn't make it in time, then he still survive. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to make Superman late.
Yeah, basically what he was doing. Going like, hey, no, this plan that we're all like, oh, he's not really going along with this. He goes, that is the best plan.
Yeah.
But Superman can prove me wrong, so I'm going to give him a chance to prove me wrong.
Because if Superman's wrong, or if Superman's late, this future goes into effect. And what happens to Superman then? Does he just get absorbed into old bearded Superman? Like,
I mean, I like the message after.
Still trying to kill Superman. Let's not forget that.
I mean, well, no, because I like the message afterwards. It was like I really couldn't believe that there was any other way in what to do this. But that's kind of the point of Superman. Is he's there to believe in things that I can't believe in. Yep. I like that part of it. And I like the moment in space where he's because we keep getting this flashback where he's with his dad and it's lighting the lantern, he couldn't do it, and then he's like teaching John how to do it, and we see the Justice League standing there with the lanterns, and he's like, those aren't lanterns, those are suns, and it's like a hallucination that becomes the real thing, and then he flies through all the suns. I do kind of,
it was that hope that his friends are there.
I do kind of hate something about this though. I hate the part where the narration says that it's going to take however long for light to catch up to him and months for sound to catch up to him, because I'm like, no, he's not that fast. Don't do this. Stop telling me
maybe he is when he's flying through that many suns and absorbing all that power. It's a
little golden agey.
I think the idea here is it's like a temporary boost that he's absorbing that much power. He's getting stronger. He's getting faster.
Well, because he needs to punch out World Forger.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it's a permanent thing. He's not going to retain all of that.
But don't get me wrong. The actual event of all this, and then him like swooping into the planet and just going straight for World Forger and punch him in the face. But of course, the full page spread before he does so is him, and then below him you see Pa-Kent, above him you see young John, and it's like they're both there with him in spirit. It's a fantastic moment. It's the best moment of the issue.
So, I was wondering how much Bendis had to do with Snyder and his plan, right, going forward. They're definitely talking. Hey, cut it out, jerks. Sorry, the dog was chasing the cat. I definitely, with something that happens in Young Justice, seeing Pa-Kent here, by the end of whatever's going on, I'm going to say by the end of Doomsday Clock, so maybe 6 months from now. Who knows, whenever that ends. The Kents are coming back. Ma and Pa are going to be back. And I feel this was the subtle reminder, because that page with John and Pa, we've seen Psycho Grandpa, right? We need loving Grandpa.
We need proper Grandpa, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
I've had a lot of problems with this arc. I think a lot of this arc has felt kind of rushed and not really had the emotional way that it's needed to. I think the Superman stuff in this last issue is mostly pretty great. And definitely been easily the best thing about the whole arc. Like, the Superman stuff in this issue is like head and shoulders above everything else in the arc for me. Hell, I hated, evil Lois in the future and all that stuff, but I even liked the moment with her when she refuses to fire on Superman because she sees Superman coming back. I'm like, okay, that was a nice moment. I wish I cared more about her specifically, because she just feels like this fake Lois that I don't buy would do this.
Oh, because So, the fifth dimension actually has rules where the sixth dimension doesn't, right? Is that where we're at? Like, the sixth dimension is actually the world of imagination.
Oh, actually, on that, let me. I want to talk about this. So I was telling Matt about Twilight Zone when we were on a break between issues, and I said to him that it's funny we're talking about that because there's actually there's 2 comics this week that have narration boxes that sounded so much like a Rod Serling intro to the Twilight Zone that I read them in his voice without even meaning to. The one in this one that I liked, because Matt just said Sixth Dimension has no rules. It's on the first page after the opening sort of scene with Superman, and we actually see him like all skinny in space.
Yeah.
At the bottom of the page, there's 2 boxes here. The Sixth Dimension is the final realm. It exists beyond imagination, beyond understanding.
Beyond understanding.
A place where everything falls away except the truths to where you never went to see. And I read that in Rod Serling's voice. It's so like a Twilight Zone thing.
Enter the Twilight Zone.
Enter the Twilight Zone. Yeah, that's it.
Sounds the music sting.
Sounds like he's building up to it. It really does. Continue.
Now I want to go play the flipping pinball machine. Damn it! Y'all ever play that Twilight Zone pinball machine?
I have not. No.
So it's when they built it, they built extra loud speakers, so you would hear over all of the other pinball machines or arcades, you would hear the Twilight Zone theme over everything. So here in Vegas, it's called the Pinball Hall of Fame, and it's just a pinball arcade, right? And no matter how loud it gets in there, you will hear the Twilight Zone theme coming from the back of the hall because of that. And now just thinking of that theme and here, God, I want to go play it. I'm gonna try to talk the wife into it.
Yeah, that's because this was the second one out of the 2 examples. I'll get to that one in the other book when we get to it, but this was the second one. This one's actually more in your face because of the wording here. You know, it's in another dimension. It's like
that sounds. To be, that's on Snyder, right?
Yeah.
Like that has to be.
It's probably intentional.
What he was going for.
Yeah, the other one wasn't intentional, but it was just the phrasing also made me think of Rod Serling. But I read the other one first, so this wasn't like just because this one was on my mind. The other one was first. But
yeah, we know you read this last.
Yeah, yes, you do, because you were waiting on me to finish it.
But also, so that Superman with the sun, him coming out of it, that's definitely shades of All-Star, right?
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm like, I put Jimenez on a full-time Superman book at some point, please. Like,
yeah. Jimenez has been absolutely killing it this arc. Say what you want about the story. I know Pete especially has had some problems, but the art has been top quality.
Oh sure.
Yeah, that scene where he comes through, right? And I love that with John, him, and Pa. And then it's the World Forger, and he goes, when he looks up, he sees something he never imagined. Something shaped a lot like a fist, and it zooms in on his eye.
Yeah.
And then
the page after it's like this sonic boom going all around the world. Like, oh man.
Yeah, Jimenez kills it.
No, the Superman stuff is great. It's funny how it kind of ends with them actually recruiting the World Forger. So instead of Batman joining the World Forger joins Batman.
Yeah,
that's Superman though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can convince them all.
Yeah, and it's like we have to find the Monitor, we have to find the Anti-Monitor, and we're going to do this. We're going to save the world. And they come back to regular present day. Mira and Starman are like, "Oh, where have you guys been?" Like, "What? We've only been gone for a few hours." It's like, "You've been away for a week."
We were fighting Mixie and Batman, and it's all gone to shit.
And then Lex gave this big grand speech, and then the Year of the Villain issue happened where Lex apparently killed himself.
Can I say how disrespectful it is for Lex to stand over Mixie like that? Oh, I'm pissed. Come on, man.
And then at the end of the issue, Brainiac sort of has these pods of people growing out of it, and one comes out, gets dressed, and it doesn't give you a clear image, but I mean that's Lex, right? Who's just been reborn.
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah, I felt that way. I mean.
Whatever he is, he's we're getting Luthiak at one point, right? Like
Luthiak
from Justice League.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like from the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because Snyder does like to pull from the animated.
He loves
stuff.
those shows.
He did it with on his Batman run with the animated series, just the visual sometimes.
Yeah, blimps everywhere.
Blimps and just the Art Deco.
He had that Clayface issue or 2 issues really early on in the run that was just basically here's an animated series episode.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So here I feel like we're definitely shading towards Luthiak.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not as interested in this Year of the Villain stuff just because it feels like a gimmick. Like
that's a little bit.
There's a little bit, yeah. But
it doesn't feel naturally occurring. Like if this just happened in the pages of Justice League, and we weren't getting all these tie-ins of
honestly
Lex's offer.
I don't mind that too much. If it's a story, it's a story. Mm-hmm. My biggest problem is them calling it Lex going,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no. See
welcome to the Year of the Villain.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
When Lex said that out loud, I groaned hard because
that was the worst line of the issue, which he was fighting for, because there was another one that was on like the second or third page that I was convinced was going to be the worst line.
It's the same as in Batman when they started referring to 0 year as 0 year. I'm like, why are you calling it this?
Stop it, yeah.
But then I like stuff like at the end where he says their doom has only just begun. I like that. That's a good.
No, that's fine.
Capper.
Also, with the cloak at the end, Lex actually looks like Doctor Doom. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually looks like Doctor Doom. Yeah. Actually calling it you're the villain in the story itself, like the character's referring to it, is that really bugs me.
I didn't even think about that. What if he's Professor Doom?
Professor Doom.
It's better because he's a professor. He's the one that teaches the doctors.
Are we suddenly getting the Terrifics involved?
Oh man,
I could see it.
Yeah,
I could see
it.
What
was his name again, Pete?
Dr. Dreadful? I think, yeah.
Dreadful?
Dr. Dread, yeah.
Dr.
Dredd. That sounds like a spin-off of Judge Dredd. It's like Dredd's changed profession, and now he's a doctor.
It's the
7 years of med school. He's now.
Joseph Dredd, MD.
It's the CBS shared universe. Judge Dredd, Dr. Dredd.
Officer Dredd.
Watch the crossover with Grey's Anatomy. But yeah, oh man.
Just imagine Judge Dredd walking out of a present day hospital and executing someone and saying, "I am the law." And then Patrick Dempsey being like, "What?"
Someone tries to hit him with a malpractice suit, and he's like, "I am the law." I just turned him into Stallone, but
you betrayed the law. Betray the law. I am the law.
Yeah. That's what brings him down, though, is the liability insurance. Dr. Dredd, you can't just be executing hospice patients. Like, they had their time. They made their decisions. Man, I want to watch Carl Urban.
Oh, dear.
Have you ever talked about how he's Dr. Bones McCoy, but also Dredd, and you put them together? Now he's that character. It's been sitting in front of us this whole time.
Yeah, whole time, no.
And this ties into the, what is it, AD? Is it 2000 AD?
Yeah.
The book that Dredd comes from.
Yeah.
So,
I watched the 95 Dredd just a month or so ago because we did it as a bonus Patreon episode of the Atomic Ceramic Experiment, our sci-fi movie podcast. Right. Go check it out if you're a patron. It was fun watching that again.
Pick one, that or Demolition Man. Which one do you enjoy more?
Oh God.
Let me just say, only one was sponsored by Taco Bell, Pete.
One was sponsored by Taco Bell.
That's a divisive factor for that.
Yeah, apparently so.
He doesn't know how to use the shells. They both have Snyder in them.
They do actually both have Rob Snyder. How did that happen? How did Rob Snyder end up in two sci-fi Sylvester Stallone movies back to back? That's so weird.
He doesn't know how to use the seashells.
Yeah, that's really weird. I'd have to watch Demolition Man again.
Yeah.
They both fall into not good movies, but there's just enough stupid charm that maybe makes them worth watching, especially if you've got nostalgia for them.
Man is streaming anywhere because now I want to watch it. I'm gonna say I definitely enjoy that one more, not just because of Taco Bell.
Man, we are tangent a lot this week.
Yes, we are.
We're really going for that 3 hours.
So, anyways, what are we rating the old Justice League?
Yeah, what are you rating, Matt?
I'm gonna give it a. Man, the Man is Art is strong. I think I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
Connor?
I'm going to be unusual and slightly above Matt, which is weird. Usually he's the high end, but I'm going with an 8. I like all the Superman stuff a lot, and the fighting stuff is all fine. It's not like the most compelling. That would have pushed it up higher, but it's all perfectly decent. But all the core stuff with Superman and just the art of it all is enough to make it an 8 for me.
Yeah, I like the Superman stuff a lot. I like the idea, like Batman's line about, Superman's there to believe in things he can't believe in. I like that a lot. So that really drags it up for me. The fighting with the other heroes while they're waiting for like Superman, it's just kind of fodder. It's just kind of there. to be there.
Oh, that's it. That's the bit that has the second worst line of the of the issue. It's on the title page. They're all fighting. The evil Hulk woman's like, you cannot win this battle, Justice League. And one woman goes, I hope you're talking to your team. I'm like, what? That's like it's like the equivalent of going, a kid go, oh, why are you talking about yourself?
Yeah.
Like, what? That is some terrible trash talk.
Yeah.
I don't make trash. I burn it.
I think I'll agree with Matt here and go 7.5. I think that's where I'm going to land on it. I'll be here. The villain stuff's fun. I think it does feel a bit gimmicky overall, but the actual story could be pulpy goodness. The problem with Snyder, though, is that he tends to overcomplicate absolutely every goddamn thing.
We should say Snyder talked about this in an interview this week, that's saying, Justice League is an event book going forward. It's going to be constantly feeling like
that's how I feel it should be, though. I don't feel like they keep using flagship, and I don't feel like it should be a flagship. It should be this is when big things happen, because you have all of the heroes involved.
Yeah.
But I know. I would also make it a flagship.
Might be a little bit disappointed by that, because it means you're probably not going to get a lot of quiet downtime.
Yeah, I don't want it to be constantly events. I want it to have ebb and flow. But
I mean, I don't think I mind too much when there's all the other books giving me quiet and downbeat things, and we're even between a lot of these characters, I can get those beats.
I guess the bigger problem for me is that Snyder's writing when he's doing event stuff is so packed and quick paced that I don't feel that the emotional weight of a lot of the things that's supposed to land actually land. And I think his pacing there could be improved greatly, but we'll
That's
see.
fair. But I mean, we kind of agree it landed this time with all the Superman stuff.
Oh, it landed. There was a lot of stuff in the middle that wasn't that good.
That's fair.
That'll take us on then. And what will it take us on to? It'll take us on to Shazam issue 6. Geoff Johns writing with Dale Eaglesham, Scott Kolins, and Marco Santucci on the art. This book, do you know what's funny? I read those credits at the start of the book when I was reading it, and I said to myself, that's 3 more artists again. But I thought, well, if they're in the different lands again, then maybe it's just kind of a functional thing. But most of it's not. Most of it's just, whatever.
Yeah. Here's my problem with this book, and this doesn't sound like a stupid complaint.
Oh God.
It's not moving fast enough for me as fast as I want it to. Like, if any book needs to be double shipping, it's this one.
Oh, good luck, no.
Good.
Do you want 12 artists?
Yeah, good luck with that.
No, I don't want the more artists. I'm enjoying the story, and I just feel like there's so much going on here. Like, I feel I want this first part to be over to get to the other parts.
I'm enjoying it a lot. I like this quite a bit, and this is actually the other one where the Rod Serling voice, the first one that it came into me, and it's the very first page. It was just imagine I'm doing Rod Serling voice here, right? No. The Funlands, ruled over by King Kid, kept eternally young by his mysterious wishing stick. Price of admission upon reaching the age of 18. Unconditional servitude for the remainder of your days. Situation. It was like I can hear Rod Serling. That's not the opening, but that's the opening narration.
The inflection.
Judging from how you guys feel about the new Twilight Zone, which I haven't watched, that's a Jordan Peele narration.
Yes.
Not so much a Rod Serling.
Yeah, but unlike Rod Serling, Jordan Peele has nothing to do with the writing or the stories that are happening.
He doesn't?
No.
Nope.
He's just the face of it?
He's just the face.
I think he's a producer as well, so he's putting some money in.
Yeah, but he's not.
That's fresh. Well, this explains a lot now.
Yeah, creatively, he's not involved.
As much as I didn't enjoy Us, he still is a talent that I figured, wow.
Yeah, he's not wasting his ideas on Twilight Zone. He's making movies out of them.
Wow, I didn't think of that.
All right.
Shoot.
Well, yeah. So Shazam and Billy and Mary escape. But when they try to go through a door to get to the Wildlands, because they heard that's where two of them went, they end up getting teleported back to the house, and Billy's reunited with his family. And Mary wants to tell the foster parents about who they are, because she wants help.
Yeah. Well, doesn't want to. She does.
Oh, sure. That's the end of the issue. Eventually, she does. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
Very briefly, admittedly, because they get interrupted quite quickly. But Billy's like, "Hey, no, we can't do that. They're never going to believe us."
So Connor wouldn't get this because he didn't see the movie yet, but this is basically the movie origin for Billy. So do you think we're getting the mom stuff?
We may, yeah. And if depending on how much John's...
I'm not ready for that again, Pete.
I mean, depending on how much John's had a say in the movie, like he might have been seeding things that he was going to do in the comic a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not ready to go through that again, man.
Yeah.
Like,
not even just that. I was thinking, so Savannah and Black Adam are fighting, and Savannah's got powers here, lightning powers, and it was making me think of the movie because in the movie he's got like powers from what happened to him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No,
I know. I'm just getting some crossover with the movie, and that's all good and well because the movie was based off of the Johnson Frank.
Yeah.
It pulls a lot from there, and so this is a continuation of that. But again, and it's not a bad thing. I don't want to say it. It's an emotional, a lot like the Lion King remake. I ain't ready for that again. You know, like that scarred me as a child. I don't want to be scarred as an adult. And now I feel this is gonna mess with me all over again. But yeah. We get was it Pedro and Eugene?
Still in the game lands. They take a car and start driving, and they don't get too far before the wizard shows up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I actually thought there was going to be a moment there when Mary tried to transform, she couldn't. I thought the wizard might have done something.
I thought that he had as well.
Yeah.
But apparently not.
But I like how this was devolving into chaos, and the wizard's like, "Oh man, this is why I blocked all these off." Like, y'all can't handle this. So.
On that note, you know, when they're trying to they're trying to go to the wildlands, they're in that kind of that space between, and they say, "Oh yeah, the tunnel's closing off," and then it's where it kicks them out back home. Do you think it's an effect of the wizard, or do you think it's to do with Savannah and Adam's fighting in there?
I thought it was Black Adam and Savannah because the lightning in their panel matched the lightning that when they were fighting.
See,
Mike. So yeah, because the lightning matched.
I did too, but then when the wizard showed up at the end, I was like, well, maybe he had something to do with it, and he's trying to get them all back home.
Oh, maybe, yeah. So maybe he's going to get the others next time, and then that'll be it. Yeah, I could see that. We found out Billy's dad spent some time in prison. Savannah actually beats Black Adam with, obviously, Mr. Mind's help and powers and whatnot. Yeah. And he actually goes to the Rock of Eternity and just sits down in one of the chairs and is like, I'm waiting for the rest to show up.
Yep.
So, yeah, we'll see. I like this issue a lot. I mean, I think this is one that's going to read fantastically in trade. I feel like as a 6-issue story or whatever in trade, this is going to be like such an easy, quick, breezy read. Yeah,
this is going to go in about like an hour if you just sit down and read it.
Absolutely. So no. And the other big thing that's happening before Mary does her big, because I mean I like that final page when she does say Shazam and she's.
Her transformations have been the best thing of like the last 3 issues.
I know they've been really good, but King Kid's actually assembling an army to come to Earth to fight.
to fight the adults.
To fight the adults, yes.
Yeah.
So that might be fun. We'll see.
Joke's on them. They're all obese now from candy, so that's all they're eating. They cross over to this world and boom, diabetes.
The Funlands has like a natural diabetes like blocker. They can eat as much sugar as they want. Nothing happens.
But you come back here, you're donezo. So, bring it on, dummy.
Speaking from experience, Matt.
I am. That's again.
All right. That was fun. I mean, I think the big thing is the fact that we're getting 3 artists per. It worked better last issue because each one was in a different land.
Yeah.
This one was a little bit different. And didn't feel quite as smooth. So hopefully they can sort that out over time, maybe with the second arc.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Get another writer on it that can be consistent. Not that I don't like most of these writers these artists because I do.
Yeah.
But, we're having trouble.
Yeah,
so.
we just need one who fits the style and can do the monthly book.
Yep. Matt, what are you giving Shazam issue 6?
I'm giving it an 8.
Connor?
7.5. I don't think it was quite as strong as the last few issues.
I am going to give it an 8 as well. I liked it. So, there you go. Which will take us on to Young Justice issue 6. Brian Michael Bendis writing with Patrick Gleason and John Timms on the art. Presumably this is the last Gleason issue because he's off to Marvel.
Well, his name's not in the credits.
Is it not? Did I just put
Nope, it's
keep his
just
name?
John Timms.
It's just John Timms. That's Comixology's fault. They still had his name in the credits.
Yeah, and even the cover is Timms and Alejandro Sanchez.
Okay.
So he's gone. That said, Tim's art is very Gleason-esque. Because
sure, yeah.
I didn't even realize it till about halfway through that it wasn't, because I don't look at the cover nor read the title pages because I'm a heathen. But yeah, so no, art is fantastic. Did not miss a beat in keeping the style.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of great pages with all the, because this is the first issue where it's really all of them together. And talking about what they're going through. And, and Tim asked some really good questions. He's like, wait, John, how are you here? Mm-hmm. And basically he says, like, hey, like, I didn't remember you. Like, I'd forgotten about you until recently.
Excuse me, you said John? That's not his name.
Oh, sorry, Connor.
That's Connor G.D. Kent. Okay?
What's his middle name?
G.D.
G.D., okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've hurt some feelings here.
It's actually not GD. It's goddamn. I have to just do that because I forget that you're the man who forgot Starfire. So
she was in a commando suit with short hair.
Got him.
All I'm saying is, how David created us that supercut.
Yeah.
He also created a nice little meme based on that joke that I think Pete needs to share out on the Twitters.
Yeah.
I thought see the animated image.
This is Starfire.
Yeah, see the image that comes from, like the base anime or whatever it is.
Yeah, the butterfly thing.
Yeah, what's that from?
I don't know.
No idea.
No idea. Because I saw a great one for Chernobyl with that image, and it really made me laugh.
Is this graphite?
No, it wasn't that. It was.
Is this radiation?
It was about the Readings, and it was Dyatlov, who's the guy who was at work at the plant in the night, who was basically making all the wrong choices. I've seen so many great memes with him. There's one where it's the photo of the guy sitting at the table saying, change my mind. And it's him saying, no, that wasn't graphite you saw on the floor, change my mind.
I'm in like a lot of shit posting groups on Facebook, like themed ones, like Star Wars ones, Always Sunny ones.
Yeah.
They're all doing Chernobyl crossover shit posting right now.
It's
the best thing about that show.
Chernobyl 5 episodes, Matt, and it's fantastic. Watch it.
Okay. Well, it's all I've heard. I was waiting for it to end, but I
it's done.
It's
done.
It's done. Yeah.
So, my other favorite meme that's come out of that is "Never Give Up on Your Dreams," and it's the writer in all of his shit movies and all the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And then the end is Chernobyl with like near universal acclaim.
I think it's the highest rated show on IMDb the whole time. Yeah.
It's It's fantastic. I mean,
the
only thing that
I was
bothered
planning
me,
on it. I was waiting for it to end.
The English accents are weird because it's meant to be in Ukraine, but other than that, like, it's phenomenal. And the last episode, the last episode's fantastic. I loved it.
I wasn't really feeling it, but I accept that I'm the odd one here.
Yeah, everyone else is loving
it. Of course, you're not reading Young Justice, because of spite. But my favorite thing about Chernobyl, not seeing the show, is that Russia is so mad about it that they're making their version that's going to blame the CIA for it. Which, when our president gets a hold of it, he's going to be tweeting about how the CIA helped Chernobyl happen.
Sure. Yeah.
So this is fantastic.
It's brilliant. I hope it happens.
But Young Justice.
Yes, Young Justice. It's nothing to do with Chernobyl, but Chernobyl's a very good show.
We get how Connor has a kid, and does it make me a scumbag?
Hold on. We're actually racing past the point I was starting before we got to Chernobyl. Because
I was going to get to his origin story.
Because Connor still remembers everything, and it turns out Wonder Girl does too. Wonder Girl, I don't know how Wonder Girl remembers things. I'm sure we'll get more of this later, but she's like, no, I remembered everything. Like, that's why, because Tim thought she didn't, and that's why she was acting weird. And it turns out she's just weird because she's weird.
That was just me.
Yeah, so those two characters did not have their memories erased from Flashpoint. That did not happen for them.
Either did Bart, because Bart remembers everything, but Speed Force.
Yeah, well, right? But Bart's like an odd case because we knew he was in the Speed Force. So
right.
Yeah.
And
everyone else is new, so they don't matter.
Yeah, everyone else is new. Yeah. So, but there's more to Amethyst as we find out, which I do like.
Yeah.
And whatnot, but we get Connor the rest of his origin that started in issue 3.
Yeah.
With him, and that he lands there after going through that portal into the gem, And
Actually, Matt, if I just stop you for a second, I want to just say the joke Bart makes before we cut to this flashback.
Go ahead.
Because Bart blurts out awkwardly in front of Cass and everyone else, how are you here? How do you know this woman? And how do you have a baby? And there's this panel of everyone just reacting and looking at Bart like, what did you just say? And Cass like, you have a baby? First Bart says, I don't mean how do you make a baby, I mean how do you specifically have a baby?
Have a baby, yeah. So good. So Connor lands, and you have these are they Opal soldiers, or there's some kind of soldiers?
Yeah, I think so.
Hassling his now wife, and she's pregnant, and you find out that her husband died, I think in the war, right? And she's a single mom, and which is frowned upon in Gem World. So he says, "Oh no, that's his wife, that's his baby," and kind of offers her protection, and then she offers him like belonging in a sense of family, and they make it work out. And now he's abandoning them.
So Connor's not actually had a kid; he's just sort of filling in for someone else.
Yeah, which plays right into the Superman,
Oh yeah, and it works as well, because as soon as I got to this explanation for the situation, I went, oh, so he can leave then. It's not like he has to stay for his kids.
Yeah, am I a scumbag for feeling relieved that that's not actually his baby? Like he's free to leave and come back and do whatever.
No, I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. And they asked Teen Lantern, which and there's not much to her story, but she hacked a green power battery, and she's 12. She's really smart. Actually, she's 11, I believe. She said.
They say that she corrects them and goes, "I'm 12, thank you."
No, I'm an 11-year-old. She says that.
Really?
She says 11.
Oh, damn. Then you start drawing her like she's 11. She looks like a teenager. Damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then obviously they asked Jenny about who she is, and there's a great tease here where she's like, "No, I was coming for answers in Metropolis because I inherited this trunk, and apparently it was my great grandfather's."
Apparently, this plays into the Batman story that Bendis was telling in those giant size.
Oh, really?
Which is her first appearance. Yeah. So I'm going to track that down.
Well, I mean, they're going to start releasing the issues. Which we're going to cover when they came out. I think in next month.
You might. I don't know if I'm going to commit to all of them, but
I'm going to try them. But I'll probably read the Bendis and King ones for sure.
Yeah, but I'll definitely check out the Jenny Hex because I want to know how this plays in, because it seems like Bendis is weaving a tapestry through all of his stuff.
Yeah. So she opens the trunk, and they all look in. There's like a bright light. It's kind of Pulp Fiction-y. The light comes out of the case, and they're like, "Wait, that's real? I thought that was a myth." So they're all looking at like stuff that might come in the story, into play later. So,
but we're burying the lead here because
are we?
Young Justice fights a castle creature.
Oh yeah. Well, hold on. Again, I must stop Matt and tell you a funny Bart moment before we can get to that.
There you go.
Because Amethyst is basically explaining what's going on, how the gem world works, how the different houses work, and the power and all that.
So they each have a prime gem, and that's where each of the houses pull their powers from. And Dark Opal's done something that has turned his dark. Whatever he's done, and it's basically causing rifts in reality through Gem World every time he taps into this dark energy.
And she's explaining that they have to steal this, and it's going to be really hard. And while she's mid-explaining how difficult this is going to be, Bart just speeds off and speeds back and is holding it already.
So you have to get into his castle and then go through the dungeons. And then through the dungeons, there's this deep 3-mile pit. And as she's explaining, Bart's like, "Oh, here you go."
Yeah, it's so good. And then the castle gets up, and it's like there was like a whole giant underneath the castle. The castle's like his back. And they have
to fight the castle, and it's great. And Connor's missing out so much because this is Young Justice.
Yeah, and because Teen Lantern is like, "Well, this is my first time doing like a team up thing. This is a bit much. Can we do something easier?" And we have this great action scene. And after they make the castle tumble and they beat Opal, they get Opal grabbed. Teen Lantern kind of beats them. Mm-hmm. There's like again a group shot of all 7 of them standing like side by side in a group shot, and then Tim's like, "All right, go on, say it, Bart," and he's like, "Young Justice is back."
Yeah,
it's a really good moment.
Oh man, and not having Teen Titans anymore, like This is my new Titans team. I'm very excited.
Well, before people correct you in the cut, there is a Teen Titans book right now.
Not for us though.
Yes, not for us. But, yeah.
But like this is like the Young Justice League team, and that's where we get a piece of, where was that in? Was it in the last? There's an issue where Clark talks about the Young Justice League team. Where was that? Hold on, I'm scanning.
I don't know.
I don't know. It was in another Bendis book, so maybe it was in Leviathan.
Oh, maybe.
Where he talks about the trouble that the Young Justice League team, got themselves into, and it was a reference to the earlier on in the story. But anyways, this definitely feels like the Young Justice League team, because you have your Super, you have your Bat, you have your Wonder, you have a Lantern,
You have a Flash.
you have a Flash. Now you have a Magic character in Amethyst. You have Jenny Hex, who is that person that shouldn't be there but is. And I'm sure Naomi will be there.
The wild card. She's the wild card.
Yeah, the wild card.
Yeah. So the big twist at the end of the issue is that Amethyst is going with them to Earth because she's broken a lot of rules. Yeah. And she's broken a lot of rules. But the evil person there is like, yeah, she's now banished, and we didn't send them to Earth. And she's like, where did you send them? And I actually laughed out loud because it says next lost in the multiverse, and just because we always say lost in the Speed Force at the end, I laughed at that.
Well, it wasn't so much the evil person, but it was, we saw Amethyst butting heads with all these families. And this is, I think, Emerald.
Well, I was being, I wasn't being accurate.
But it's just the way that it was. It wasn't so much like, I'm evil plan. It's like, well, now Amethyst is gone. We can do what we need to do to reset Gem World.
I would have just said the ginger, but they're both ginger in this scene.
Yes, I know. So, but yeah, no, this is Young Justice. This is why I love the teen hero teams so much. Yep. Is what goes on here, and it feels nice to have Bart back, and Connor and Tim and Cass. Like, it also doesn't help that this was my Teen Titans team when I started reading comics.
Yeah, that's really felt like the team finally, the end of the story of them coming together for the first time. It really felt like if this was a TV show, this entire first 6 issues would be the pilot.
Yeah. It
really did.
So, and the art is really cool. Like, it again, I didn't realize it wasn't all Gleason, because I thought, oh great, because we've been getting those guest spots, where half the issue is the guest artist because it's a flashback.
Tim's can happily stay. I was very happy with this art.
Yep. I'm trying to see what else work he's done, because I want to seek it out.
Yeah, no, I liked it a lot. I've liked this first arc a lot, and then I think this ending hit the beats of fun that I like about the team. Had some great humor, but it also set up the next story, and again had more of the intrigue, because we've not quite answered everything. Like, why can Cash remember everything? Yeah. Okay, so Superboy, sure, he got beamed to Gem World when or at least before things happened or whatever. Yeah, but we'll see.
Yeah, because this is what we saw, is that he was living with the Kents in Smallville. Right, and so he still remembers them. That he's from a universe where the Kents didn't die on prom night for Clark.
Yeah, because he even says he says Pa Kent always said something at one point. He mentions him.
So, but yeah, oh man, I'm very excited going forward.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Tim's worked on a bunch of Harleys, so I don't know if that's the Connor one. Kind of looks like it.
Probably.
But I'm gonna keep looking, because I like the art a lot.
Yeah.
I want to read more.
Yeah, we should rate Young Justice, which I thought was a really solid conclusion to the first arc. What were you rating?
So it was. I'm giving it a 9. I really thought it was strong. Yeah.
I'm going to say 8.5. I don't quite go to the 9. Because I've really enjoyed this arc. I think maybe the one element of it, though, that's been a bit weaker is just the story's just really simple, because it had to spend so much of its time doing all the flashbacks and stuff. But so I'll give this final issue an 8.5. But I've really liked it. So Looking forward to the next arc starting, and wherever they end up in the multiverse. So good. Which will take Connor on as the lone wolf to talk about the Green Lantern issue 8. Grant Morrison writing, Liam Sharp on art.
Yeah, this is wild. This is full Morrison.
Oh God.
He's doing his old thing of reviving a one-off Silver Age concept and running with it. So,
is this the cover that was my ward?
Yeah,
is an
yeah.
addict?
This is the Space Junkies issue.
I like that the cover looks old school. It looks like an old Green Arrow, Green Lantern cover.
Yeah. It's straight from Hard Traveling Heroes.
Yeah.
The whole issue kind of between the Hal and Ollie's dynamic is kind of straight from that. So it opens on a different planet first, Hadia Maxima. It's basically just a big cartel world, and but with like this weird sense of honor where that no one dies of old age because they have to die in battle, like they have to. So they have to, or more specifically, they have to be murdered. So like they kind of like whoever murders them takes their place in their organization. So when they're ready to okay, I'm ready to be done here now, they choose who they want to murder them, and kind of let them do it. Yeah, it's weird, but basically, there's this killing going down, and the head honcho says to his employees like, hey, look, there's a rival out there. I need him whacked, but that's not good enough. I need the whole planet whacked, and he's on this planet, which is of course Earth. So that's the thing there. He's off to go and take out Earth, kind of. But this is where we actually, we cut back to Earth for the first time in this book in a long time, if ever, really. We got like a little brief glimpse in
the first issue.
Yeah, and we got a bit on when they got miniaturized.
Okay.
But we've not really seen a lot of it. This is, out in the street. There's a guy here I'm pretty sure is meant to be Gerard's, who's he's like a waiter, and he's getting harassed down the street. And Ollie shows up and starts taking them out, and and Hal shows up behind the guy, and he's got his construct's made a fishing rod, and he goes, "Oh, catch of the day," and Ollie just he's like, "Come on, catch of the day, you can do better than that. And if you're gonna do it, at least do it in a Schwarzenegger voice." and the guy is there, he's hanging in the air on this fishing rod, and it's like, "You guys are insane. What's going on? What's happening? Just put me down." And this is where we get this panel of like, okay, we see some kind of weird version of Ollie and Hal watching over what's happening, and they're talking in this weird language. It's not even standard alphabet. It's like this cursive script. It's unusual, and Ollie's in the classic hat in this. I mean, he's not in the main issue. He's the regular Ollie is wearing his hood, the outfit that he's had for a while now. But this version that we're seeing look over him is in the hat, and it's a little bit weird. What's going on? They go back to Ollie's place and have a bit of chit chat, a bit of banter, kind of catch up on what's going on, why he's not staying with Carol, and and they go, all right, okay, let's figure out what's going on. This guy's a drug addict, and turns out what they're actually doing is the only drug that he's on is an anesthetic. It's essentially what they do is they extract their souls, and they're doing this voluntarily so that they will feel numb, because they they're sick of the world, and they don't want to, and they've got no hope for whatever they're doing, so they're just going, screw it, take my soul, and then that's going off to be sold to rich people in across the cosmos, and you get a lot of Ollie being political here. He's like, I can't believe that that people are willing to sell their souls to be numb in this world. This so-called president has a lot to answer for. Is a line that he says.
Oh, not too subtle, is he?
No, but I mean, is Ollie ever?
That's true. That's true.
Especially
he doesn't
when
have a
paired
subtle
with Hal.
button.
No. Yeah. But they're actually they're flying in. Hal's got him on a big flying horse construct, like a big Pegasus. And they get there, and they're on the docks, and there's a big giant green arrow sticking out of the building, like a giant bloody arrow.
Yeah, like Key to the Fortress of Solitude, big.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, and Hal's always like, hey, what were you saying about grounding myself with normal things on it while I'm on Earth? Just giving him shit, and they get in, and Ollie's like, hey, this is kind of familiar. There's all these like mini rockets on the side of the arrow. I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this before, and I was like, oh yeah, a huge arrow-shaped object seems familiar to a man who calls himself Green Arrow. I'm shocked. But then they find, the big green hat, and it's like, what's going on? They go inside, and there is a giant version of Ollie, kind of knocked out on the floor. He's down.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is where Morrison has revived a single issue concept from the Silver Age.
Okay.
So I did have to go and do some, because they called it and they were like, okay, it all works in the issue. Because I went and looked it up after. I was like, what is this? This is Zine Arrow. That's XEEN.
Okay.
This was an issue. It was a one-off issue that Kirby was on in the Silver Age, and it's from Dimension Zero. There are these beings that are giant. And there was an adventure where it was Oliver and Speedy. They went over to Dimension Zero and ran into this guy, and but he communicates telepathically, so he's kind of talking to Oliver but not to Hal, and Hal's trying to translate, like, brute force his way in through the ring, and so we're only getting bits of it. Turns out his body isn't designed to be on our Earth, so the stronger gravity is just crushing his lungs
down. Yeah.
It's like the idea of if you scaled up an insect, the skeletal system wouldn't be able to cope.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same here. So apparently they have these like gravity belts to compress themselves when they visit this plane usually, but it got broken by this villain, who it's this guy in a yellow jacket and like a red like a black hood sort of thing. This is apparently the villain from that issue in the Silver Age. But Morrison has now retooled him into being the other cartel leader from this other planet. We have a bit of a fight here. It's pretty good, and then they're like, okay, they figure out that he's got a target on him, and so the other mobster who was dispatched to take him out is on the moon, and he has a giant gun thing aimed at this building to take him out. So Hal has to, using the ring, pick up the giant bow from Zine Arrow, aim it out of the big hole in the side of this building, create an arrow with his ring. He takes the arrow that was shot into the building and shoot that at the moon to take out this guy. And it's ridiculous. It's insane. But then Zine Lantern shows up, a giant version of Green Lantern shows up and takes away, that warlord into custody. It's insane. The final bit is we see Sinestro. He's sitting around with the warlords. Although it is notable, this Sinestro, his colors, he's in the classic costume, the purple and black, but the colors are reversed. So instead of being mainly black with the purple collar,
right,
it's purple with the black collar. So presumably this is antimatter Sinestro.
Good lord.
Yeah. Well, so I'm excited to see how this goes. I know next time has some multiversal stuff going on. We've got Green Lantern of Earth 20. So yeah, this is. It's so over the top to say it and sounds ridiculous, and Morrison is shit. But reading it, the banter back and forth between Hal and Ollie is so, it's completely on point. The action is all rendered brilliantly, and giant arrow fired at the moon. Why not? It's delightful. This is a fantastic issue. It's maybe not as good as the last couple that I really liked. But no, this is great stuff. This is like an 8.5.
Okay. Delightful.
Yeah.
Delightful stuff, Connor. Music to my ears.
Every time I'm like, I should check this out, Morrison's like, hold on, I'm not done yet. Xenarrow.
All right, so that'll take us on to the final book of the week, which is going to be Adventures of the Super Sons, issue 11. Peter J. Tomasi writing with Carlos Barberi on the art. So Matt's up for this one.
So,
well, he's maybe half asleep.
Yeah, sorry.
But...
So Rex has his plan. Right, he's gonna invade Earth with his army of villains, but Tommy Tomorrow and the two older versions that they jumped up come in to save the day, and it turns out that because of the hypercube, when the boys interacted with it, it brought their future selves into existence, and so basically Rex is like, oh well, you aren't gonna stop me. It doesn't matter how many of you there are. So he goes to make a break for it through the portal to go to Earth, but Damian and John decided to chase him through, but it was a trap, and Tommy Tomorrow tries to stop him and the older versions of themselves because they play right into Rex's hands, and he traps them inside the cube. So of course it's because of Rex and as his motivations, and he switches it from he's going to invade this army to he's going to go be made king of Earth, because that's his name. You know, Rex means king. But we get some little smaller moments of the team fighting against the army of Rex, and Space Cabbie and Joker Jr. show back up, and Space Cabbie's like, well, I can take you there. You just have to, don't jip me on my fare again. But yeah, it's just basically set up for the last issue of how's it going to set them from this whole year. It was their year worth of stories, but it's just been a summer since they left. And that even John's like, oh, this is not how I expected to spend my summer vacation. But most of the issues just a fight between the army. They use a gigantic chemo character to try to fight him, but Tommy Tomorrow takes him out, and that's where Rex decides he's gonna go conquer Earth by himself. That they've just, having this army is complicated. All he can do it by himself, and that's when he traps him inside the cube. And now the Tommy Tomorrow and the older versions of the boys are gonna have to save the day. And again, it's just a fun little story. You can tell it's Tomasi winding down his John and Damian story. The voices are all still there. The art's still decent, but it's just, you feel like it's kind of just a filler story. Like I'm kind of glad though this wasn't Superboys, because it feels like all of this is just going to be wiped under the rug sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm going to give it a 7. I think it's fine. It's just where it started, and it's just where it's ending up. It's fun, but it's not that same kind of fun that the first Superboys was. This feels like the back half more. You remember that story where they went to the planet of the superheroes? Mm-hmm. This is what this feels like.
Yeah, so. And that was easily the weakest part of that run. And
that's what this feels like now. You had the Jonah Hex robot and Space Cabbie, and it's fun seeing all those characters, but I just don't ultimately know how this is going to impact them going forward.
Yeah. Oh well, that actually brings it into the books for the week, which means we should stall before we do the last bit so we can get to that 3 hours. But we've got about an hour to kill to get to 3 hours. So if you want to bring up anything, now's the time.
My ear's plugged. I can't get it unplugged. So that's fun.
Curb, I'm actually quite hungry.
Me too. I ate before we started today.
Screw you.
Rare
I'm on coming up on 19-hour fast since I've eaten last. So yeah, I need to eat.
So you would rather we didn't go 3 hours then? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're at a point of the show now where we pick our favorites of the week. We do our favorite panel / moment. We do our favorite cover, favorite art, and then top 5 books. So, Matt, what is your favorite panel / moment?
So mine comes from Justice League, and it's where the three Kents show up. Yeah, Pa, Clark, and John. Right. Shout out to the one before that, which is Superman, and it's all those panels of
the
him speeding
kind of,
there.
Yeah.
That one's pretty good too. But yeah.
Yeah, solid. Connor?
I was very tempted to use a Superman moment from Justice League.
Yeah.
But I'm just going with DCeased of I'm sorry, son, and then bang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that 2-panel just ugh.
You two picked the two obvious choices, you bastards.
Well, you should go first sometimes.
I don't know. Sometimes I expect you to have a weird one because you're weird.
Does happen occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not going with what I thought you were.
What?
Which is with Dinah emerging as a Green Lantern.
I mean, that's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I don't know if it's quite the same as the emotion of "I'm sorry, son" shot.
No. Young Justice fighting a castle is pretty metal.
That is pretty great. I think I'm going to go just slightly before in DCeased, actually. I think I'm going to go with the idea of Batman being the one to say, you have to kill them. I think that works so well in a narrative way, in a character way, that it's just too good. It's a really smart choice. So I'll go with that. Best cover of the week. I'll go first for this one, because it's obviously going to be the Nightmare on Elm Street variant for DCeased. No question.
See, and I'm not as bothered, because that's mine too.
I'm disagreeing. Because
that's fine.
The Green Lantern variant with the with the sword is gorgeous.
It's all right.
Yeah, fine.
Piss off. I actually really like the Shazam variant as well, but
the Shazam variant's pretty.
Yeah.
All right, best art of the week, Matt.
I'm in with John Timms for Young Justice. I really liked it.
Connor.
Justice League.
I'll agree with Matt here. I'll say Young Justice.
See, I would say Jimenez if it was just him, but then you have the expanded issue, you know. So
I still like Fernandez.
I think it's fine, but if I have to weigh him out,
what I'm saying is Jimenez stuff is that good, it outweighs all the other ones anyway.
That's fine.
Okay. Matt, what's your top 5 books of the week?
Sorry, caught me at a yawn again. So number 1 is Young Justice, 2 is DCeased, 3 is Justice League, 4 is Shazam, and 5 is Batman.
All right, Connor.
DCeased, Green Lantern, Justice League, Shazam.
Okay, I'm going DCeased number 1, number 2. I'll go Young Justice number 3. I'll go Justice League number 4. I'll go Shazam, and number 5 I'll go Batman. Yeah, I'll read 5 books. I was like, what am I missing? No, Batman has to be number 5. There's nothing else there. That's okay. Yep. So yeah, there you go. So that's our top books of the week. But every week on Twitter at DC Comics Podcast. So if you don't follow us, be sure to go do so. We ask you what your favorite book of the week is. So I will now tell you some of the picks and some of the reasons that were given. So I'm just going to scroll over here and click on it. Because I don't know, it's for some reason Chrome sometimes doesn't like being open for too long with all the tabs that I've got open.
It's because it's a memory hog and it just leaks and it's terrible.
It does, yes, it's the worst. All right, here we go. I've found it. I mean, I suppose we'll start with that, talking Superman, since he gets mentioned in every goddamn episode.
Did he choose Justice League by any chance?
Shazam issue 6.
Wow.
It's great to have a book that focused on the disruption of the family dynamic while just being tons of fun.
Surprised he didn't go with Green Lantern. He loves Morrison.
He does. I'm not surprised that he didn't pick Justice League, though, because I know that he's... I don't know if he's exactly like my opinion on Justice League, but I know he's similar.
No, I get that. I just think with all the strong Superman
stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised...
In this issue particular.
I wouldn't be surprised if this was his favourite Justice League issue in a while. Just... because of all that stuff.
Yeah.
At Com Factor, DCeased issue 2, I'm mad at how they treated my favourite hero, Aquaman, but I also cried at the ending.
That is fair, though. Aquaman deserved better.
Yeah, he got the red shirt death.
Yeah.
He got the chump death. At that Scott, Revels, DCeased issue 2, the Dana Lance moment had me fist pumping in excitement. We also had at Stu on, even though Justice League 25 probably had the best moment of the week. Debatable. I'll go with DCeased issue 2. It was fun and suspenseful a read. And at Cathanis, also DCeased issue 2. Tom Taylor is writing something truly special with this book. So many great moments between the characters. I think that it pulls off the emotional beats way better than The Walking Dead ever could. There you go. But we have some Justice League love. Obviously, Justice League issue 25. This comes from at Kushik7496. That wasn't an obvious one.
Name.
Obviously, Justice League 25.
Pete, where's Kashyyyk? Come on.
Where, Matt? Go on, where?
You tell me. I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Oh, Connor. You want to tell him?
It's the home planet of the Wookiees.
Yep.
See, I almost thought...
I love that Peter looking so close that a glance me or Matt would have been absolutely fine.
When Matt asked me what that was from, I thought, am I about to be embarrassed that I don't know the answer to this? And I feel so relieved that it was a stupid Star Wars thing. So relieved.
It's the Wookiee homeworld. Excuse you, sir.
So obviously Justice League 25, well, there are so many great moments from this book. This one will be among the greatest. Thank you, Jorge Jimenez and Scott Snyder, for this. Throwing lots of hugs out to you guys. Blah blah blah. He's got it's the page with the three punches with Superman and Pat Kent.
I kind of guessed that, to be honest.
Yeah, and then finally at Glenn Reads Comics, DCeased issue 2 was the best DC Comics book to come out this week. Tom Taylor once again delivers, giving us a new. There's a typo here. A new Green Lantern. I never knew I wanted until now. Obviously, it means Green Lantern.
Or does he? After that issue of the Green Lantern, maybe it's from another Earth.
No,
another dimension.
No, Glenn even replied to his own thing saying, "Wow, I hate small keyboards."
Fat thumbed it. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, it's familiar.
All the time.
And then we got a couple of non-explanation ones for Justice League and DCeased. So, so there you go. So certainly DCeased was the winner there, but we got a couple of Justice League and Shazam love. Not surprisingly, no Young Justice. Amusingly though, I know there was a little bit of Young Justice, but
I loved it.
It was a fairly solid week though. I mean, out of the 5 books I read, even Justice League I would include in this. I really liked 4 of them. So.
Out of all the books I read, Super Sons was one of them.
Oh dear.
Still better than Batman though.
No, I didn't have it as better than Batman.
Yeah, no, you
Really?
like Batman more. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Pete probably would have had it better than Batman.
Maybe, I don't know. Probably.
I'm just assuming.
Probably, I don't know. But yeah, so I'll tell you what's coming next week. That's usually what I do now.
It is, yeah.
So it's a big week next week, so brace yourself here. I can delete Catwoman off our list though, because we've all dropped that.
Yeah.
Oh no, what's happening? I'm blaming the cat for this. The cat's leaning against things.
Yeah.
Causing shenanigans as per usual. Oh my god, why can't I just move where I want it to move? You prick. Right, there we go. Okay.
I could have started. I have it in front of me.
It's fine. Coming next week, we have Event Leviathan issue 1, so that's a big thing. Bendis' big event coming out. We have Detective Comics 1005. We have Superman number 12. We have Wonder Woman 72. We have The Flash 72. We have Supergirl 31. We have Batman and the Outsiders number 2. We have Hawkman 13. The Batman Who Laughs number 6. And Wonder Twins issue 5. Also coming out, but we are not covering for sure, is Catwoman 12, Justice League Odyssey 10, and Red Hood Outlaw 35. Although Connor will get to that, I'm sure. In a few months'
Just
time.
because we're not covering it, I'll give a shout out to next week's, the Justice League Odyssey variant cover.
Sure.
It's kind of great.
Let me see it.
Okay. This is the episode where man yawned like 5 times.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm also yawning to try to pop my ear because I don't know why it's plugged, but it's plugged now. And it's driving me up the wall.
Worst part is he's setting me off.
Sorry.
It keeps getting to me. I can feel myself trying to hold him back.
Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 10 books next week. Although there's a few of them that only We don't. None, I don't think any of us have 10 books. Although Matt may actually. Matt has 10 books. Me and Connor only have about 8 each.
I don't have detective.
There you go.
Matt doesn't have 10 books. He's fine.
Yeah, he's got 9.
Oh, I have a Leviathan. Hold on, let me count them. 1, 2.
He's got 9.
He's got 9. He's got everything else I said.
6, 7, 8. Yeah. You're indeed correct. I have 9. I used to do that to my teachers. They used to get so mad.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've clarified that. We've clarified that Matt has 9 books next week. I think I have 8. I'm not reading Batman Who Laughs, and I'm not reading Hawkman. Yeah, I have 8. Good to know.
I am just glad that now Pete knows that Kashyyyk is the Wookiee homeworld.
I'm not going to remember that.
Yeah, you will.
Oh, no. I'm not going to remember that.
Hey, Connor, I got to bring up Black Chrysanthemum this week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Just before we started this, there was the gameplay reveal for the new Star Wars game.
Don't tell me he's in it.
No. But the opening, well, what I assume was maybe the opening mission. One of the early missions that they showed there was set on Kashyyyk. And you got like Saw Gerrera's in there.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Sweet. So Pete, for Black Chrysanthemum's a Wookiee bounty hunter. He's essentially evil Chewbacca.
He's cool as shit.
Yeah, he is. Someone asked me my top 3 non-movie Star Wars villains. So
That was a good choice.
Yeah, I had Ventress, I had Savage, and then Chrysanthemum. So, yeah.
This might shock you, Matt, but I really don't give a shit.
I know people expected me to say Thrawn, but I wasn't going with Thrawn.
I'd have taken Thrawn over Savage for sure.
Yeah. Well, I love Savage just because of what he represents. That's that Sith backstabbery.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
I get that.
And he's yoked. That dude's jacked.
He really is, yeah.
We done? We good?
Yeah, we're done.
Moving on,
Oh, because my food's here.
What'd you get?
Chinese.
Oh, okay, nice.
Okay, so Car's Food's here. So it's time for a new segment on the show.
Yes.
It's time for a new segment at the end of the show.
Yes, Connor's order.
I don't know.
Chinese. Oh, you don't? What the hell?
He trusts Paige just enough to order his food.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
to cook it, but she can order it.
Yeah, no, wow, that's hurtful. She can't cook me food. She can order me food, though. I've been married to my wife since 2012. I would never let her order my Chinese food for me. For 7 years, no thanks. You seem like you're in the mood for chow mein. When have you ever seen me order chow mein?
Wait, you were only married a year when I met you, Matt? Weird.
Yeah, but we'd been together since 2007, but we got married in 12. So.
I thought you said since we were 7 there.
No,
I did for half a second.
Jeez, that's a long relationship. Who's to think those 2 7-year-olds are going to eventually tie the knot?
Yeah, that's even worse because she's 2 years younger than me. So. Yeah.
Okay.
That said, she could order. She could order a lot of places, just not Chinese.
Sure, you don't trust them with Chinese. That's good to know. That's good to know.
Or pizza.
Or
leave her alone with the pizza.
The two most common things to order off a takeout menu is Chinese and pizza, and that's the 2 she's not allowed to do.
Yeah. Well, she's allowed to put in her input, just don't order for me. Like,
oh, sure, yeah. No, I know what you mean.
I'll order whatever pizza she wants. I'm just not touching it. That said, I had a ham and bacon pizza last week to watch Takeover, and
ham and bacon. Ham and bacon. It's the same thing. It's ham and bacon.
No. Not from Domino's here. Domino's here, it's different. So, it was salty, but it was delicious.
No, I appreciate there is a difference between ham and bacon, but once they're on a pizza.
Yeah, but bacon you can refer.
Textures. The textures go a little bit different, so.
That's a subtle difference, though. That's not. It's not like we're eating a pizza and you've got like chicken and bacon, or you got chicken and beef or whatever. Like it's like a completely different meat.
They go together. It's good. Now I'm hungry. Damn it. Let's finish this. Let's wrap up.
All right, we'll wrap up with another new segment. It's called Peter Tries to Think of a New Segment in the heat of the moment. This week's segment is, what does Firefly think of the comics? Firefly?
Hey, this is called Let's Talk Star Wars till Pete decides to end it, because Connor, you heard about the lightsabers and
Matt, we can talk about wrestling. We'll talk about AEW if you want, or even New Japan. We can talk about those.
But that's not going to keep going.
And get my food, and because you will talk about wrestling that long, I could just.
Yeah. My gamble there was Pete just going, "We're done."
Here's the thing, though: the longer Pete does this, the longer I have things to watch after this. And he wouldn't want to risk me falling asleep.
Yeah.
Shooting himself in the leg just to prove the gun works.
I'll do it. I'll shoot myself in the leg to prove the gun works. Don't you worry.
It's real. I could fire into the air and hurt nobody, but no, I'm going to harm myself.
I'm not firing blanks. I'll prove it. Oh dear. Okay, so I'll promote some stuff. So I mentioned Television to Multiverse earlier, which did take a week off this week, but it's me and Car talking about DC shows, so that's relevant for you. Matt mentioned that we did like a huge Dark Knight Rises discussion. We did all the Batman movies actually on 121 in Flux, so you can find them on YouTube or on the Mail Fuzz Movies Mail Fuzz Movies audio feed, the podcast feed on your iTunes or whatever you get your audio podcast from. For example, wherever you're listening this one on, you can find it on that. So you check that. As for our stuff, we should probably point out, because E3 is coming this Sunday, Monday, for the day of this going up. Later today, we'll have the Microsoft and the Bethesda conferences, and me and Connor will be streaming our reactions, watching those. So you'll watch us with us on the Mailfuzz Video Games channel.
Maybe you're not super into video games, but you're here because you're a comic book fan. Tomorrow, Monday, is the Square Enix conference, and they are showing their Avengers game. So you might want to be there for that one. Yeah.
Rocksteady, who did make the Batman games, are not going to E3, but there's a chance that WB Montreal might, and they might have a DC game.
Yeah, so there might be something here or there.
It's not out of the realm of possibility. And if that's not enough, me and Carl will be sporting shirts and ties, and we'll be doing this very professionally.
Yes, we take this very seriously. More seriously than we take this stupid show.
Although we did say that maybe if we start doing shirts and ties for E3, we should probably do it for the awards that we do at the end of the year. So the awards episode of this, we might wear shirts and ties.
Yeah, that includes you too, Matt.
Yeah. Matt, do you own a shirt and a tie?
Joke's on you, I don't own a tie.
You are an adult man. How do you not own a single tie?
Because
what do you do if there's a wedding or a funeral?
I don't wear a tie.
You savage.
How uncivilized.
Yeah, and why are you... The man that loves bears and Vikings is the one you're calling uncivilized.
I think that might be like the most British me and Peter have ever been.
I also don't own Oxford Neubrogues. I wear Vans. I wear Chuck Taylors at my wedding.
Yeah, what did you wear at your wedding?
No tie.
Oh, let's have a tie.
Did I wear a tie? No, I wore a tie. I had to have Josh tie it for me.
You can't tie your own tie?
No. I wore a clip-on to prom. Because it was hilarious. As soon as I was out of there with pictures, that thing was off for dinner.
Oh, jeez.
I ain't getting my tie in my soup. Thank you.
Clearly, Matt's not had enough practice wearing a tie if he's worried about his tie getting any soup.
Yeah.
Nope. I tend to do the collar, open collar. Really nice. Mm. I'll tell you this. For my homecoming, my senior year, my inspiration was The Rock in The Rundown. All right? That's how Matt. He dresses early in that movie.
Okay.
That was me.
No shirt and tie for awards. And that's including the movie awards as well, by the way, when we get to that in like March. Right? But you have to wear a shirt, like a proper button shirt.
Okay.
And no cap. And maybe I'm pushing it with this one. No cap. I'm banning the cap for that episode. No cap. And you have to comb down your hair.
Yeah, right.
I want it all to the side.
No, my hair doesn't do that. I don't know if you know this. I don't have a part. It goes where it wants. That's why it got spiked.
Well, I'll go to the side. That's what I want. But we'll discuss what the dress code is. We'll discuss it.
But there will be a dress code.
But there will be a dress code. For one show out of the year.
Baseball jerseys have collars.
For one show out of the year, Matt is not going to be in a cap and he's not going to be wearing a wrestling or sports shirt. I promise of it. I'm doing this.
Yeah, I wear superhero shirts all the time and band shirts.
All right. So that's been the show, more or less. You can like and subscribe, of course. You can comment and let us know what you thought of the books this week. You can, of course, get us on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast, as we mentioned before. Check out everything else we do. Go to patreon.com, of course, patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here, and just feel warm and fuzzy on the inside and keep the show coming. You can do that. So go and have a look-see. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep reading DC Comics, guys, and always remember. What? Why are you smirking at me?
You nearly said keep watching.
I did not. I did no such thing.
You almost slipped.
I never said it though. I never said a damn thing. You can't prove anything.
There was a W.
You can't prove a damn thing. You ginger cretin. Keep reading DC Comics, guys. We'll see you next time. And remember, so you really messed me up now. Now I'm messing the whole thing up. Keep reading DC Comics, guys, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Or the multiverse.